Did you know that honey can last forever? Honey is one of the few natural products that practically never spoils and can remain edible for thousands of years. Archaeologists discovered pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs, over 3,000 years old, and the honey was still edible. The secret to this longevity lies in honey's unique chemical composition. It contains very little water and has high acidity, which creates an environment where bacteria and mold can't thrive. This natural preservative ensures honey's everlasting freshness, making it a nectar of nature that can remain delicious and usable for centuries. Imagine for a moment that Alaska was once part of Russia. Today, Alaska, one of the harshest and most remote states in the U.S., was formerly a part of the Russian Empire. It was sold to the United States in 1867 for a record-breaking $7.2 million. Alaska is not only one of the northernmost states, but also has the longest coastline in the U.S., stretching over 10,000 kilometers. The region has a challenging climate that makes it unique and markedly different from the rest of the country, while remaining an important strategic and natural resource. Wow! It turns out that laws in the U.S. can be quite strange. For example, in Arizona, it is illegal to place a donkey in a bathtub, and violating this law can result in a fine. In Alabama, there is a unique law prohibiting carrying ice cream in your pocket. These absurd yet real laws reflect not only eccentricity, but also the uniqueness of each state's culture. Laws that may seem puzzling to residents of other regions result from local traditions and historical development, making each state uniquely distinctive. Did you know that the colored squares on toothpaste tubes aren't magic? You've probably noticed the small colored squares at the end of toothpaste tubes. Some people believe that these colored markings indicate the product's composition, whether it's natural or chemical. But the truth is, that's just a myth. These marks, which can be black, blue, red, or green, are known as eye marks and serve purely technical purposes. They help machines on the production line correctly orient the tube for packaging and labeling. These marks contain no information about the toothpaste's ingredients or quality. So next time you see such a mark, you'll know it's just a technical detail, not a sign of some mysterious chemical composition. It's hard to believe, but the first university in the U.S. was established in 1636, and it was Harvard. It remains one of the most prestigious institutions, not only in America, but also in the world. Harvard has become a symbol of academic success and intellectual wealth, providing its students with the highest quality education. This institution has been the foundation for numerous scientific discoveries and social changes in the country, and has played a key role in shaping the U.S. educational system, which continues to be one of the most advanced in the world. It turns out that fireflies can control the brightness of their glow. The fireflies we marvel at on summer evenings actually have the ability to adjust the intensity of their light. This is due to a chemical reaction in their bodies that uses a substance called luciferin. They can change the brightness of their glow depending on whether they are attracting a mate or warding off predators. Imagine how useful it would be to not only have a built-in lamp, but to control its brightness. Did you know that the world's smallest mammal weighs less than a penny? The bumblebee bat holds the record as the world's smallest mammal, weighing less than a penny. Native to Southeast Asia, these tiny bats live in caves and hunt for insects with remarkable efficiency. Despite their small size, just about 2 grams, they are perfectly adapted to their environment. The bumblebee bat demonstrates that nature's diversity includes even the tiniest of creatures, each playing an important role in the grand tapestry of life. Who would have thought that quokkas always look happy? The quokka's viral fame stems from its irresistibly cheerful expression, a wide-eyed, open-mouthed smile that melts hearts online. But behind the grin is biology, not joy. Their facial structure naturally forms a pleasant look, regardless of mood. That said, quokkas truly are more sociable than most wild animals. Native to predator-free islands in Australia, they've evolved without the instinct to fear humans. Over generations, their willingness to approach people brought food rewards, favoring the survival of friendly individuals. As a result, modern quokkas are bold, curious, and often interact directly with tourists. Their behavior is a case study in how evolutionary pressures, not emotions, can shape the friendliness of a species. So next time you see a quokka selfie, remember, it's not smiling for the camera. It's thriving thanks to a perfect mix of charm and adaptation. The royal game of is the oldest board game, over 4,000 years old. This ancient game was discovered during excavations in Mesopotamia and dates back to around 2600 BCE. Played by two players on a 20-square board, the game involved strategic moves with pieces that maneuvered around obstacles. It had a major influence on the development of future board games, demonstrating the strategic thinking of ancient civilizations. Just imagine how deep-rooted our love for games really is. Here's what's hidden in snail mucus. It acts as a signal. A snail's trail is more than just slippery slime. It's a rich communication system and multifunctional tool. The mucus acts as a lubricant, allowing snails to glide over rough terrain without injury and stick to vertical surfaces like walls or tree trunks. But more fascinatingly, snails embed chemical cues in the slime to guide others. These cues can signal paths to food or indicate readiness to mate. Other snails detect these pheromones and follow the trail like reading an invisible message. In tough environments, snails may even overwrite trails with conflicting signals to confuse competitors or predators. Mucus also conserves moisture, preventing dehydration in hot or dry climates. This humble substance functions as GPS, armor, and social media, all in one sticky package. Evolution turned mucus from mere waste into a brilliant tool of survival and coordination. Why zebra foals start running right after birth. Zebra foals can run just 1 hour after being born. This amazing ability helps them survive in the wild, where predators are always on the lookout. Baby zebras are born with strong legs that allow them to stand up quickly and keep up with their herd. Thanks to this skill, they can avoid danger from the very start of their lives. Imagine being able to run within an hour of being born. These striped cuties are ready to show off their impressive speed and agility right from the start. Why is there a village in Norway where it's Christmas every day? In the Norwegian village of Drobak, a festive Christmas spirit lasts all year long. There's a Santa Claus museum, a postal service for sending holiday letters, and shops full of Christmas decorations. Even in summer, you can feel like it's winter, and the happily maintain this festive atmosphere. Tourists come here to experience a holiday wonderland, leaving with smiles and holiday cheer. Pteronophobia, an unusual fear you might not know about. Did you know that the fear of being tickled by feathers has its own name? It's called pteronophobia, and it's characterized by an irrational fear of being tickled by feathers or even by feathers themselves. While this phobia is rare, it can cause significant stress and anxiety for those who suffer from it. This unusual fear is yet another example of how unique human fears can be and how they can impact daily life. The United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world. In 2012, there were 730 imprisoned individuals for every 100,000 Americans, placing the country at the top in terms of prisoners per capita. The justice system in the U.S. is uniquely strict, and although there have been several reforms in recent decades, issues such as prison overcrowding, poor rehabilitation quality, and significant racial disparities in the inmate population continue to persist. The high crime rate and large number of prisoners have repeatedly been topics of public debate and academic research. This prompts the government to seek ways to improve the justice system and find solutions to reduce the prison population in the future. What's hidden in LEGO's secret vault? LEGO has a secret underground vault that stores every single set of building blocks the company has ever made. It's a true time capsule filled with nostalgia and creativity, waiting to delight fans of all ages. Imagine the wonders hidden beneath this vault, where both classic and modern sets are stored together. This vault is a dream come true for LEGO enthusiasts, preserving the company's entire legacy. What if I told you that you can boil water just by shaking it? Yes, it's true, although practically impossible to do. If you shake a container of water fast and hard enough, you can create friction, which will raise the water's temperature. Theoretically, if you shake it quickly enough, you could even bring the water to a boil. This unusual physics experiment shows how mechanical energy can be converted into heat. While you won't be making tea this way, The mere possibility that shaking could boil water is astonishing. It's amazing, but the platypus is one of the strangest creatures on Earth. This incredible Australian animal, which looks like a mix of different creatures, has baffled scientists for centuries. The platypus lays eggs, produces milk for its young, and has venomous spurs on its hind legs. This combination of traits makes it one of the most unique mammals on the planet. Despite its odd characteristics, the platypus has lived on Earth for millions of years and remains a symbol of nature's mysteries and evolution. Who would have thought that Al Capone's business card was anything but gangster? Did you know that the business card of America's most famous gangster, Al Capone, stated that he was a furniture salesman? This is an intriguing detail from the life of one of the most ruthless criminals of the 20th century. Capone rose to fame in the 1920s due to his criminal empire, yet he concealed his activities in official documents by claiming to run a completely legitimate business. This fact is striking as gangsters often use legal fronts to hide their criminal operations. And how about this? Kangaroos deliver a lethal kick with their hind leg. The red kangaroo, the largest marsupial on Earth, may look cute, but it's equipped with a deadly secret weapon, its hind legs. Packed with massive spring-loaded muscles and supported by a thick, balancing tail, these legs can deliver kicks at nearly 50 km/h with force strong enough to crack ribs or knock down a predator. In a fight, a male kangaroo balances on its tail like a third limb, launching both feet in a swift upward motion that can incapacitate opponents. These kicks aren't just used in defense. They're crucial for determining dominance within groups, with males boxing, grappling, and kicking to establish rank. The tail also stabilizes them during jumps, turning each movement into a calculated burst of agility and power. In the wild, the kangaroo's kick isn't just a defense, it's a declaration of strength, precision, and control. Amazingly, oysters can change their gender. Oysters possess an incredible ability to change gender based on their needs. Throughout their lives, they may become male or female multiple times, helping them adapt to their environment and reproduce more effectively. This flexibility is crucial in habitats with varying population dynamics, where these changes can greatly influence survival. Could it really be that beavers build dams to success? Beavers are more than rodents. They're hydrological engineers. Using nothing but teeth, paws, mud, and instinct, they construct dams that alter entire ecosystems. These structures slow rivers, creating stillwater ponds where beavers build their lodges with underwater entrances, safe from predators. Their work forms wetlands that host frogs, fish, birds, and plants, boosting biodiversity and water purity. By trapping sediment and moderating flow, beaver dams reduce erosion and prevent downstream floods. Even during droughts, the ponds they create act as water reservoirs. Scientists now replicate beaver dam models in ecological restoration to stabilize water systems and reverse desertification. In this way, beavers are not only survivors, they're natural architects who leave behind flourishing communities of life, all built from sticks and mud. Who would have thought that jellyfish are 95% water? Jellyfish are almost ethereal in appearance, and no wonder. 95% of their bodies are made of water. This high water content allows them to float gracefully through the ocean, moving with the currents as if weightless. Despite their simple structure, jellyfish have existed for hundreds of millions of years, perfectly adapted to life in the ocean. Their delicate, watery forms remind us of the fragility and beauty of marine ecosystems. Who would have thought that the world's most pierced man has over 500 piercings? British IT specialist Rolf Boltz holds the title of the most pierced man in the world, with a staggering 516 piercings. His body is adorned with horn implants, stretched earlobes, and tattoos. Known as the man with horns, Rolf enjoys the attention his unique appearance brings. Despite his unusual looks, Rolf says that his piercings are a form of self-expression, and he loves the reaction they provoke. Is it possible? There is a lake in Tanzania where no one swims? Lake Natron, located near the border with Kenya, is known for its extremely high salinity and alkalinity, which turns any animal that ends up in its waters into a mummy. Birds and fish caught in the lake literally turn to stone due to chemical reactions. Although it looks eerie, the lake's stunning red color draws tourists and photographers. Despite its beauty, locals and travelers never dare to venture into its dangerous waters. The first computer bug was a real bug. In 1947, a real moth flew into one of the first computers, causing it to malfunction. This unexpected visitor became the first documented computer bug. Since then, the term bug has been used to describe any glitch in a computer system. Who would have thought that a tiny moth could play such a big role in technological history? This little incident also gave rise to the term debugging, and the story remains a quirky part of tech lore. Did you know that dark forms of oxygen can appear at the ocean floor? Scientists have discovered an amazing phenomenon, the so-called dark oxygen. Typically, we know that oxygen is produced by plants through photosynthesis with the help of sunlight. However, minerals found on the ocean floor can generate oxygen without sunlight. This discovery shocked the scientific community, as it was previously thought that oxygen on Earth only came from living organisms. Research has shown that rocks on the seabed, through a process called electrolysis of seawater, can split it into oxygen and hydrogen. This changes our understanding of oxygen generation on the planet. Did you know that lightning is hotter than the sun? The temperature of lightning can reach up to 30,000 degrees Celsius, which is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. This incredible natural phenomenon is one of the most powerful forces on Earth. When lightning strikes, it releases an enormous amount of energy in just a few milliseconds, heating the air around it to extreme temperatures. Lightning is truly nature's own flamethrower, bringing intense heat with every flash. Did you know that boxfish wear armor like real tanks? Boxfish, members of the family Ostracidae, are nature's aquatic tanks. Instead of flexible skin or scales, they're encased in a rigid, bony exoskeleton made of interlocking hexagonal plates that form a hard box-like shell. This armor makes them nearly immune to bites and scrapes, especially in rough reef environments. Though their shape limits speed, it adds incredible stability, allowing them to make precise, slow maneuvers through coral. Some species even excrete a milky toxic mucus when stressed, deterring predators with both chemical and visual warnings. Bright patterns on their bodies serve as aposematic signals, further discouraging attacks. Engineers study boxfish for their biomechanics, using their body shape to inspire designs in automobile and underwater robotics. In the evolutionary trade-off between speed and safety, the boxfish proves that armored resilience can sometimes be the winning strategy. Photography, the art of stopping time. The ability to capture a moment on paper may seem like magic, but today it's a part of our everyday lives. The history of photography is filled with fascinating facts. The first attempts to freeze an image were made in the early 1800s by Thomas Wedgwood, but without success. Modern photography, as we know it today, became possible thanks to the experiments of pioneers like Joseph Nicephore Niepce and William Henry Fox Talbot. Their innovations forever changed the way we preserve and share memories. Surprisingly, the shoebill looks like a living dinosaur. With its hulking frame, steely gaze, and enormous shoe-shaped bill, the shoebill stork, Balaniceps rex, is a bird that seems plucked straight from the Jurassic. Found in the swamps of Central Africa, this silent predator can stand over 1.2 meters tall and remain still for hours while hunting. When it strikes, it does so with terrifying precision, snatching fish, frogs, and even baby crocodiles. Its prehistoric appearance is matched by its behavior, slow, deliberate, and intense. The giant beak crushes prey with a snap as loud as a rifle crack. Despite its imposing look, the shoebill is shy and solitary, nesting deep in remote wetlands that are increasingly endangered by human activity. Conservationists now race to preserve both the habitats and the mystery of one of the world's most dinosaur-like birds. It may seem incredible, but the puffer fish transforms into a living landmine. Small, slow, and seemingly harmless, The pufferfish is actually a master of sudden transformation. When threatened, it gulps water, or air, and inflates to several times its normal size, turning into a round, spiky orb that's difficult to bite or swallow. Its skin is embedded with spines, and many species contain tetrodotoxin, one of the most lethal natural poisons, with no known antidote. A tiny amount can kill predators or humans, and the toxin is concentrated in the liver, ovaries, and skin. Despite its toxicity, pufferfish are a delicacy in Japan, fugu, requiring highly trained chefs. Scientists are now exploring the fish's inflation mechanism, flexible internal chambers, muscular valves, and rapid water intake, as models for expandable biomaterials. This unassuming creature proves that sometimes the best defense is sudden, overwhelming surprise. Can you imagine? Your blood vessels could wrap around the Earth twice. Have you ever wondered how complex the human circulatory system is? If you laid out all the blood vessels in your body end to end, they would stretch about 96,000 kilometers, enough to wrap around the Earth twice. This intricate network of arteries, veins, and capillaries is vital for transporting blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. This amazing feat of nature highlights just how complex and beautifully designed our bodies are. Now that you know this fact, you can marvel even more at how your body works. Sometimes it seems unbelievable, but the cheetah is nature's built-in racing car. From 0 to 97 km/h in just 3 seconds, cheetahs are the ultimate sprinters. Every part of their anatomy is built for speed. A lightweight frame, ultra-flexible spine that acts like a coiled spring, long limbs with powerful muscles, and semi-retractable claws for traction. Enlarged nostrils, lungs, and adrenal systems ensure maximum oxygen delivery during the chase. But this speed comes at a cost. Cheetahs can only sustain full sprints for about 20-30 seconds before their muscles overheat. That brief window is usually all they need to catch a gazelle with pinpoint turning agility, aided by a long tail that acts as a rudder. After the chase, they pant heavily and rest for up to an hour. Built like a race car with the reflexes of a gymnast, the cheetah is evolution's tribute to high-performance hunting. Why can dung beetles navigate by the stars? These tiny creatures have a unique ability to use the stars as a compass. At night, they look at the Milky Way to always move in the right direction and stay on course. This is especially important when they transport their precious dung balls over long distances, as these provide them with both food and protection. Surprisingly, scientists have found that their eyes, while not highly developed, are sensitive to starlight. This celestial navigation helps them stay oriented even in the complete darkness of deserts and savannas. Did you know that Great Britain was not always an island? Great Britain is an island nation that comprises 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. However, it wasn't always an island. About 88,000 years ago, before the Ice Age, the land that is now Great Britain was part of the continent. It was only after rising sea levels separated the land that Great Britain became an island. This process was a result of climate change and altered the entire geography of the region. This might sound crazy, but the mantis shrimp punches harder than a bullet. The mantis shrimp may look like a colorful reef dweller, but it packs one of the most powerful punches in the animal kingdom. Its club-like limb accelerates at 23 meters per second, faster than a .22 caliber bullet, and delivers over 10,000 G of force. When it strikes, it not only smashes shells, but also creates cavitation bubbles that collapse with a second explosive hit, producing shock waves, heat, and even light. The limb's structure includes a saddle-shaped energy-storing mechanism, which scientists now study to develop resilient materials for body armor and aerospace. Aquarium glass has cracked under its blows. It's not just brute strength, it's precision engineering perfected over millions of years. With explosive power and mind-blowing speed, the mantis shrimp is one of nature's deadliest biomechanical weapons. Why do some old clocks have one number written incorrectly? If you have ever looked closely at the dials of old clocks, you may have noticed that the Roman numeral for 4 is often written as 3 instead of the standard Ivor. The reason for this lies in historical traditions. Roman craftsmen believed that, 3. Looked more symmetrical on the clock face and was easier to recognize by the eye. This rule has carried over from ancient times to modern antique clocks, preserving its incorrect beauty. Just imagine for a second a sloth carrying a living garden. Sloths are so slow that algae, fungi, and even tiny insects take up residence in their fur, turning them into mobile rainforests. The algae not only provide camouflage, but may also offer nutrients absorbed through the skin. In return, the sloth's fur offers a moist, stable microclimate. Certain species of moths live only in sloth fur, laying their eggs in the sloth's dung. It's an ecosystem in miniature, a green cloak that hides the sloth from predators and supports a network of life. Biologists have found novel antibiotic-producing fungi in this furry habitat, organisms unknown anywhere else on Earth. So when you see a sloth, don't just think lazy, think life-giving. This slow, deliberate creature wears an entire biosphere on its back, blending biology and ecology in one of nature's most unexpected symbioses. How many kilometers do you think it is from the UK to France? Only 32 kilometers. That's the distance across the English Channel. This is why it was decided to connect the shores of the two countries with a tunnel. The construction of the Channel Tunnel, which links the cities of Calais in France and Dover in the UK, marked an important milestone in history. This tunnel became one of the most significant transportation projects, costing $15 billion in 1994, which is equivalent to $35 billion today. Amazingly, octopuses have 3 hearts. Octopuses are fascinating creatures with 3 hearts. One pumps blood to the body, and the other 2 pump blood through the gills. Moreover, blood is blue because it contains copper instead of iron. This makes octopuses not only mysterious, but also some of the most unique creatures on Earth. It's hard to imagine that nature could create such amazing beings with such a unique system. Why is there a forest in Australia that glows at night? On Kangaroo Island, you can witness an incredible phenomenon: bioluminescent mushrooms that make the forest look like a fairy tale. The mushrooms emit a gentle glow thanks to bioluminescence, creating an atmosphere as if the forest is filled with stars. It attracts many tourists, especially those brave enough to spend the night among glowing mushrooms in a mystic setting. Let's uncover the truth about happiness and wealth. It's fascinating how our desires for wealth and happiness can shape our lives. Research shows that when people chase wealth, they often focus on selfish motivations, like personal gain or status. In contrast, the pursuit of happiness usually involves selfless motivations, such as helping others and building strong relationships. This difference highlights why finding a balance between the two is essential for our overall well-being. When we prioritize kindness and community alongside our ambitions, we foster a sense of belonging and purpose. Imagine a world where people actively seek to uplift each other while also achieving financial stability. This harmony can lead to not just individual happiness, but also improve the well-being of communities. Striking that balance can help reduce stress and increase life satisfaction. So how can we start blending these pursuits in our daily lives? By focusing on gratitude and giving back, we can elevate our own happiness while enriching the lives of others. Did you know that the Kuwaiti dinar is the most valuable currency in the world? The Kuwaiti dinar, KWD, holds the title as the highest valued currency in the world. Despite Kuwait not having the largest economy, its currency's unique exchange rate gives it incredible worth. One Kuwaiti dinar is equivalent to about $3.30, making it one of the most valuable currencies globally. This means that even a small amount of Kuwaiti dinars can be worth a lot when exchanged for other currencies. Could this really be possible? Electric eels zap with 600 volts. Electric eels, native to South America's murky Amazon waters, aren't actually eels but knife fish, and they've evolved one of the most extraordinary hunting adaptations: electric shock. They can generate bursts of up to 600 volts using stacks of electrocytes, specialized cells that act like biological batteries. By rapidly discharging these cells, the eel stuns prey or fends off threats. Incredibly, they can modulate the intensity and frequency of their shocks, using weaker pulses for navigation and communication, and stronger ones to immobilize prey. Some even emit double shocks to reveal hiding prey in mud. Indigenous tribes respected them as both dangerous and mystical creatures. Today, electric eel physiology is inspiring bioengineers to create soft, flexible energy sources for medical implants and underwater devices. They're not just predators. They're living power plants swimming through history and science alike. Can you imagine thousands of redheads parading through one city? In Tilburg, Netherlands, something magical happens each year. Over 20,000 natural redheads from more than 80 countries gather for Redhead Days. What began as a photography project grew into a global celebration of genetic rarity, identity, and pride. With parades, group portraits, storytelling, art workshops, and music, it's a sea of copper, auburn, and strawberry blonde, like nowhere else on Earth. Attendees exchange tips on hair care, sun protection, and dealing with stereotypes. But this isn't just about hair, it's about connection. Redheads make up less than 2% of the global population, and here they find community and confidence. The festival proves that diversity deserves more than tolerance. It deserves joyful, unapologetic celebration. Can you imagine that some flowers eat mice? This isn't science fiction, it's reality. There are carnivorous plants, such as the nepenthes or pitcher plants, that can trap and digest not only insects but also small animals like mice. These plants secrete sweet nectar to lure their prey, and once the animal falls into the pitcher, it can't escape. The plant world is far more cunning and mysterious than it seems. Imagine for a moment that Positano in Italy was once just a fishing village. Today, Positano is one of the most popular tourist destinations on the Amalfi Coast. But this picturesque town was once a small fishing hamlet. Everything changed after John Steinbeck wrote about it in 1953, which made it famous. Since then, Positano has drawn tourists with its steep streets, charming houses with colorful facades, and stunning views of the Mediterranean Sea. Goosebumps, an evolutionary artifact from our ancestors. Have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps? This phenomenon is linked to our ancient ancestors. Long ago, when humans and animals had more body hair, this reaction helped them appear larger and more intimidating to predators, while also retaining heat in cold weather. When tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles contract, the hair stands up, creating a fluffy effect. Today, goosebumps are a leftover from our evolutionary past, but they no longer serve the important function they once did. Nowadays, goosebumps are more often triggered by cold or strong emotions. So next time you feel goosebumps, remember that they are a part of your ancient defense system. It's hard to believe, but there's a city in Italy with no streets. Venice, Italy, is a city without traditional streets. There are only canals, and boats are the primary mode of transportation. Streets, as we know them, simply don't exist. Movement around the city is entirely water-based, making Venice unique among other cities in the world. Tourists travel by gondola or water taxi, enjoying the romantic atmosphere of this city on the water. Venice is one of those rare examples where the city has adapted to the constant presence of water. It's interesting that Tokyo has no street addresses. In Tokyo, addresses are assigned not to streets but to buildings, which is very unusual for a large city. Buildings are numbered in order of construction, not by their location on a street. This means finding the right address for the first time can be challenging if you're not familiar with the area. Instead of streets, residents and visitors orient themselves by metro stations and districts, giving Tokyo a unique charm and character.